What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're all doing well. So let's get started. Not tons to cover today. Of course, we're in the summertime, so NFL camps just getting started. Not a lot going on in basketball and hockey, but there were a couple of camp stories in the NFL, a couple of signings. The Jets signed Nick Folk. This is obviously a smaller one, veteran kicker. He kicked for Jets from 2010 to 2016 for 7 seasons. But was very good for the Jets. He's been around a long time. This will be year 18 for Nick Folk. He was drafted back in 2007 by Dallas. He's bounced around. He was with the Jets for over the years. He had a short tenure with Tampa. Was out of the league completely in 2018 after a rough stint in Tampa in 2017. But had a couple of solid years in New England. It's been the Titans the last 2 years. Last year in 14 games, did miss 3 because of an injury. He did lead the league in field goal percentage on his kicks. He's actually done that each of the last 2 years. Last year, only had 22 attempts, which isn't a big number, but only missed 1 field goal all of last season. So he's a very good kicker. He's going to be 41 years old this upcoming season. Year 18 for him. Kickers a lot of times do play into their 40s. Remember, they don't take a lot of punishment. You're just coming in and kicking the ball off. They don't even make tackles very often. If you hit them, it's usually a 15-yard penalty. So that's why a lot of these guys, are able to stay in good shape and not take a lot of punishment and still be, up at top of the game even into their 40s. You got like Terry was 46 years old. Morton Anderson was like 47. I think Matt Bryant was like 43, 44. So Folk is going to be 41 next year, and Jets bring him in to possibly be their starting kicker. He's the most accurate kicker in the league the last 2 seasons. Over 95%, and he's at 84 for his career. This will be year 18. So he goes to the Jets. But Denver Broncos extend Courtland Sutton 4 years, $92 million. Sutton gets his bag. I think this is a very good deal. Maybe the best year of his career last year. 81 catches for over 1,000 yards, 1,081 yards to be exact, and 8 touchdowns last year. It was his best season since his Pro Bowl year in 2019 when he had 72 grabs for over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. 2020 missed pretty much the whole season for 20 ACL and was pretty solid the next few years, but just combination just not quite what he once was that 1 year, and just really bad quarterback play. Bo Nix overall had a really good rookie year last year, and Sutton, was rewarded with a solid quarterback. He went out there and played really well, and he gets a contract extension. He's going to be 30 years old. This season will be year 8 for him. And the Broncos keep by far their best weapon, the best receiver in town for the future. And the Indianapolis Colts extend Bernard Raymond of their starting left tackle. 4 years, $100 million, $60 million guaranteed. This is the day after Rachel Slater, the all-pro tackle for the Chargers, got a historic deal. We got 4 for 114. Raymond's up there as well, so it's $25 million a year, gets $60 million guaranteed. Raymond has developed into one of the best offensive tackles in the league. I think last year he was overall rated like 10 for 14 for something like that. So really good offensive tackle, Pro Bowler, all-pro level player. And the Colts keep him in town on a long-term extension. But now to baseball. Trade deadline is in 2 days. So far it's been pretty boring. We had 2 small moves happen yesterday. The Detroit Tigers make a move. They acquire starting pitcher Chris Paddock and reliever Remy Dobnak from the Minnesota Twins. Send catching prospect Enrique Jimenez to Minnesota. I like to see for Detroit. Paddock has had an ERA of 4.9 or higher each of the last 3 years, including this year. But he's 29 years old. His rookie year in 2019 pitched really well, 3.3 ERA in 26 starts. Had 153 strikeouts against 31 walks, 140 and 2/3. Struggled in the pandemic year. Struggled in 2021 as well. You're over 5 that year. Missed time with injuries. Had a ton of injuries the last bunch of years. 22 and 23, he only pitched in 27 and a third innings. Last year, again, injuries really bit him in the ass. ERA close to 5, but it's finally been helping this year. Hasn't pitched great. 4.95 ERA in 21 starts, 111 innings. His stuff is not there anymore. 83 strikeouts, gets 27 walks. However, I do believe he's talented if he can just stay healthy. Detroit, they have a really good pitching lab over there. They've developed a lot of good young pitchers over there. Scoot Ball's on a crazy run. Casey Mize, when Matt Manning is healthy. Remember, they just lost Reese Olson for the season. He was pitching really well for them. so they could use some depth in that starting rotation. Obviously, the team at still one of the best records in the league, still got a solid lead in that division, but they've been really struggling lately, and could use a boost. And Paddock can't imagine he's making that much money. I like his move. Domek is just a death piece. It was a cool story in 2019. Guy who earlier in the year was driving for Uber. Twins give him a shot. He ended up making a couple of clutch starts down the stretch. And since then, hasn't pitched a whole lot. Was out for 2 seasons entirely before 2 years ago. He's only pitched, he's only got 142 thirds innings in 5 years for his career. 4.6 ERA. He's only pitched in one game this year for Minnesota. He's 30 years old now. But Pag, I think, does add some depth to the rotation. Enrique Jimenez goes the other way, catching prospect. And rookie ball was here for Detroit, hitting 250, 6 homers, 32 RBIs, 7.79 OPS. So nothing really to see there. He's still only 19 years old, Venezuelan kid, but not a whole lot to give up. And they don't get a whole lot in the trade, but small trade. Detroit adds some starting pitching depth there. And the Milwaukee Brewers add Danny Jansen, veteran catcher from the Rays. They send their 24th ranked prospect infielder Jed Her Arenamo to Tampa. From Milwaukee, again, it's a small move. Not a bad move. William Contreras, who going into this year had developed into one of the better catchers in baseball, has had a really tough year, and he just got hurt. He's apparently meaning to have surgery, which could cost him the rest of the year. We don't really know yet. So Jansen's probably there for death. Jansen's a solid veteran. He's never been a good hitter, only hitting 204 this year, just 218 for his career, over 1,700 at bats. But he's a great defensive catcher. He's been in the league for a while. He's been in Toronto. He's in Toronto for a long time. He split last year in Toronto and Boston. He's been in Tampa Bay this year, and now he heads to Milwaukee. Just again, needs some depth behind the plate. Contreras hasn't had a good year. I'm not really sure what else they have over there behind him. And if he's hurt the rest of the year, they could use another guy. Again, he's a terrible hitter, always has been, but the veteran who's 30 years old in year 8 of his career. Great defensive catcher, controls the running game, really good pitch framer. You got a really good young staff over there. Jason's a good player to handle that, and he gets sent to Milwaukee. Jadher Arianamo, infielder, can play second, short, or third. He's only 21 years old. Also from Venezuela, like Jimenez, the prospect who got sent to the Twins from the Detroit Tigers. This year in high A ball, he's hitting 297 with 11 home runs, 51 RBI, 455 on base, 18 OPS. So looks pretty good so far. Still real young, still only in high A ball. And you would think maybe not a guy you want to give up if you're Milwaukee for what's basically a backup catcher. That being said, he did fill a position of need, and Milwaukee's got a really good young group. They have a strong farm system. He's only the 24th ranked prospect. Remember, teams usually rank their top 30. So he's not that highly touted in their system. So I get why they were willing to move off of him to get Jansen. So I think I see why Milwaukee did it, and that's a good return for Tampa, for a guy that wasn't producing enough for you. You weren't going to resign. You're falling out of the race a bit. You guy who's expendable, get back a decent prospect that maybe in a couple of years could be a major part of your team. So Dane Jansen to the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's do a little segment here before I get to the wrestling from last night. For SummerSlam's around the corner. My SummerSlam preview is going to be tomorrow, so do not miss that. I'm going to do the top 5 GMs in the NFL that I believe under the most pressure to succeed this season. If, moves they made don't work out, if things don't turn around this year, they could be on the hot seat and possibly get let go. So let's get started. 5-3-1. Gonna go 5-3-1. Number 5 is Terry Fontenot in Atlanta. So this one's a little murky. I thought about putting Monty Ossenfort in Arizona on this list. I decided against it. Ossenfort, he's only been there for a couple of years, so I didn't think it made a whole lot of sense. He hasn't done a great job. I mean Marvin Harrison, great. I think will be a great pick. We'll see, but no, that was also kind of an obvious pick. He was by far the best player in that draft to me. Kind of fell into a lap at 4. We have a draft foul. Well, Terry Fontenot, overall, I don't think he's done a great job. If you ask me, obviously they brought him in after letting go Thomas Dimitrov, who was there for a long time. And I think this is year, 4 or 5 for him. Yeah, I think it's year 5 for him. They have not made the playoffs since he took over. Also, you went out and hired Arthur Smith, which did not work out. Raheem Morris, I think was terrible. I wouldn't be surprised if Morris gets let go, the head coach, after the season. Obviously, you had the 8th overall pick last year. You take Michael Penix, which was a questionable move after giving Kirk Cousins $180 million, which that seemed like a little bit too much money even at the time. And the Cousins thing hasn't worked out. We don't really know what Penix is yet, so we'll see how that plays out. I like what he did this all season, going edge heavy in the draft, taking Jalen Walker and then James Pierce. I don't mind the Matthew Judon trade last year. He was a guy that, even though he was getting older and a guy who wasn't healthy the year before that, he was a stud. It had been for years, and the man was very good in Baltimore as well. And so he hasn't been all terrible, but a lot of his major moves really haven't hit. And it's one of those things to where this panic situation is because of how odd it was, the way that they drafted him, how odd that situation is and unique it is. If Pants goes out there and the injury bug bites him again like he did in college, and he only plays 6 or 7 games, he doesn't look great, or he just doesn't look great overall. I would think if another, especially in that division, that's not very good, another 7-8 win year, we'll probably get Raheem Morris canned. And at that point, I wonder what they would move on for him too. It's like you screw up the head coach search twice. You haven't done a good job with the quarterback thing. Probably maybe waiting too long to move off of Matt Ryan, and then paying Kirk Cousins too much money. The pick for Michael Penix not working out. He tried to, obviously he took a flyer on Desmond Ridder, that didn't work out. He tried bringing in Marcus Mariota to start, that definitely didn't work out. So Terry Fontenot, I think, is slightly on the hot seat. Right now, he's probably like the seat's probably like lukewarm. But if Falcons go out there and struggle, especially if Michael Penix doesn't out there and look great, if Kirk Cousins doesn't get resolved and it becomes a problem, I think his seat might get a little hot. Number 4 is Mickey Loomis. These next 4, I'm a bit surprised are still in their position that they're in. Terry Fontenot, you should let him see if the Penix draft pick and the Raheem Morris led team truly works out. You should give it a priority another year. Mickey Loomis, he's been there forever. They have not been successful since Drew Brees retired, and he retired 4 or 5 years ago. He's the reason that they have just an extremely old roster that's really expensive. They've been in cap hell for at least 10 years, and they're terrible. They can barely even compete in the worst division in football. They're not good enough to make the playoffs. They're bringing up Bant to have a first pick. They're just in complete hell as an NFL franchise, and it's all because of him. He's paying 34, 35, 36-year-old guys like they're in their prime. He hasn't drafted well. How many guys has he missed on in the first round? Trevor Penning, Peyton Turner, Marcus Davenport. I could do this forever. The Derek Carr contract blew up in his face. Bringing Dennis Allen to succeed Sean Payton. Just like, what are we doing here? So I don't know how he holds a job. Next year they'll finally be out of cap hell, I think. But I would not trust him to be the guy to truly try and retool this team next year and then really take it to the next level after that. So again, they just brought in a new head coach, Kellen Moore. I wonder if he's a tank commander. I think Tyler Shuck, the corporate that they took, is definitely a tank commander. They're like, all right, team sucks, he sucks. We'll win 3 games if we're lucky, but who cares? We'll get the first pick, at worst, the 3rd or 4th pick. We'll be able to take somebody next year and really retool this team. So I don't know how the guy still has a job. I've heard a lot of Saints fans rant about him, and I don't blame them. What they're putting on the field is dreadful, and he should get fired after the season. Assuming the Saints do what I think, and what I think the whole league and every fan thinks they're going to do is, go out there, win 3 games, and probably have the first pick in the draft. 3, I have Chris Ballard. I don't get how this guy is still employed. And I don't see a world where he steals a job after the season. How many times is going to have to screw up the quarterback position for people to realize maybe he's not the guy? I get he's won an executive of the year award before, and the rest of the roster isn't bad. Drafting Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd round, getting that contract done. Getting Pittman and Josh Downs in the middle rounds. being able to find value on the offensive line, keeping the group together, trading for DeHorst, Buckner, and extending him. He did some nice things in the second half of the offseason, so he hasn't been has not been all bad. Hasn't been all bad. That being said, he has messed up the quarterback situation so many times. I get Andrew Luck retired on a spot like that a week two before the year in 2019. It's a tough situation. But then to just, you give up all that for Carson Wentz. Philip Rivers already didn't play horrible. We all knew he was at the end of his career. You completely whiffed on Anthony Richardson. It seems like to this point now you're bringing in Daniel Jones. Like you give up a third or fourth for Matt Ryan when he was like 50. Like just it is time. The organization become a joke. Obviously, unfortunately, their owner, Jim Irsay, sadly passed away in the offseason. Very sad situation, unfortunately. His children have taken over. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts miss the playoffs, which I do think will happen. That him and the head coach Steichen both get canned. At 2, I have Chris Greer. Chris Greer has done so much damage to the Miami Dolphins these last couple of years. It's not even funny. The Tua contract, he brought in Terran Armstead for all that money. He just retired, not investing enough in the offensive line, not investing enough in the defense. The Ramsey contract, just I don't understand. And trading him from he got Minka Fitzpatrick for him, which was nice. Because I don't understand what the guy is doing. This team is kind of screwed. I don't know why he would give Tua that deal. He's messed up the head coach thing so many times. I think he was the guy that brought in Adam Gase. That was a disaster. The Brian Flores situation. Then to going up Mike McDaniel. Why he hasn't fired McDaniel, I don't know. If the Dolphins, even if they make the playoffs and lose in the first round, I think he should get fired. And if they don't make the playoffs, which I don't think they're going to, I think he has to go. I think he needs another regime. Number one is Joe Shames. Probably he steals the job. The guy just hasn't drafted well. Even though to me hasn't been all that. He whiffed on Evan Neal. Neighbor seems like he nailed the pick, but just giving Daniel Jones $160 million and then letting Saquon walk is just one of the most embarrassing moves in the history of the NFL. Like he's done a couple of nice things. Keck signing was pretty good. A couple of things he did on the offensive line last year weren't horrible. But just overall, the product he's put on the field has just been horrible. And I just don't understand the reason the fans don't like him. I've heard the players are some things, but the players not being the biggest fan. I like his draft on paper this year. We'll see what happens. But I just don't understand why he's done it. I think the Giants take a legit step forward, even if they don't make the playoffs. I could see you wanting to give this regime, all right, maybe you give this regime a legit chance. Give him another year or two. But if it's another dreadful 4 or 5 win year, I think him and Dable are both going to get canned. Monday Night Raw recap to close this thing out. So with another tribute to Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, of course. Then he had a 6 mixed tag team match. AJ Styles and the Kabuki Warriors against Dominic Mysterio, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez. So basically the Judgment Day. Styles, Shane, and Asuka pick up the win. Styles pins Dominic Mysterio for the win. It was a very good match. Styles, Shane, and Asuka, that's a super team. It's hard to beat that. You have Sheamus beat Grayson Waller in a match, and Rusev attacked them afterwards. I really wish they put Sheamus and Rusev on the trilogy match, the rubber match on SummerSlam. I really wish that they would do that. There's 2 really good in-ring performers. Then you had Becky Lynch attempted to sneak attack Lyra Valkyria after she went out for a promo, but Lyra was ready for it. Came for their Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam. Yeah, Bayley interviewed backstage. You could see she looked very lost. I really think she's going to turn here, which I do think needs to happen. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying that they like babyface Bayley better. I disagree. Her first face run I thought was very good, but I thought her heel run was way better than this face run. The match there with Io Sky at WrestleMania last year was very good, but her title reign sucked since she hasn't done anything meaningful, to be honest. Then you had Io Sky, Nikki Bella, Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie Vaquer defeat Naomi, Alba Fire, Piper Niven, and Chelsea Green in an 8-woman tag match. Then, of course, backstage, Ripley and Sky exchange Ripley's like, I know we were friends tonight, but I'm going to beat you. Io's like, I've always had your number. So we'll see about that. Of course, triple threat for the women's world title against Naomi. is at SummerSlam. Yeah, the World Tag Team Championships. Finn Balor and Jay McDonough. They defeat Joaquin Wilder and Cruz del Toro with the help of a Grande Americana, which is obviously Ludwig Kaiser, and some other freaking El Grande Americano. What are we doing with this? This is genuinely one of the worst characters I've ever watched. Also, I think that's Pete Dunne. Pretty sure it's Pete Dunne. If it is, that's a complete waste of talent. What on earth are you doing, Triple H? Stop it. Enough. This El Grande thing needs to come to a head somehow. You know, and I don't know how long Chucky was going to be. I don't know if I can even wait that long. I can't do it. This anymore. I can't do it. Granted, that was a pretty good match. Balor and JD retained the titles. And Punk and Gunther had a promo. They had a pretty solid promo. Punk saying, I need to be world champion. That was a good promo. And the main event was Jey Uso against Bronson Reed. Breaker comes out and they interfere. Then Roman Reigns comes out, but Breaker and Reed lay them out. Roman Reigns and Uso get tsunami. Then Bronson steals Roman Reigns' shoe, which is kind of a weird touch at the end. But overall, was a fire segment. Of course, that will be the tag team match at SummerSlam. Can't wait for that. That's all I got for you guys today. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.